Hey, what is going on everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Noah Shaw or Fordsixfo, and today we've got the part 6 of building my dream shop house / ranch series, and we're gonna get a ton of work knocked out today. If you missed out on the last videos, make sure y'all check them out before watching this one. But today we're gonna go ahead and start disassembling the 4-post lift and getting it pulled into the shop and installed. And we're gonna wrap up welding all of the cross sections of the fence. So let's go ahead, hop in the work truck and get headed over to the property. And a very nice little addition I went ahead and added to the work truck is a 92-gallon L tank with the toolbox combo. I went ahead and built some brackets to attach it. And then we've got a 15-gallon per minute pump to fill up all of our equipment and the work truck. Let's go ahead, hop in the truck and get headed over to the property. I also went ahead and loaded up a ton of tools so we can disassemble the 4-post lift and then reassemble it once we pull it inside the shop. We just arrived at the property and I'm gonna kind of walk y'all through what we're gonna be doing with the 4-post lift. Yesterday I went ahead and started removing all of the 4 larger arms that go on each corner, and that took some time, but I used the forks on the skidster to make it a little bit easier and to disconnect some of these hoses. But we do have some damage on the hydraulic hose, so we're gonna have to get that line replaced and fixed. And then basically we're just gonna take it inside and reinstall it the exact same way we took it apart and fix anything that's wrong with it. But I did get it for a pretty good deal, and it was from an old Ford dealership, so it is just a very, very heavy duty lift that will be able to lift any truck I could possibly put on top of it. And then we'll somehow drag it inside the first bay door of the shop. And the reason I'm thinking about putting it in the first bay door is because I think it's gonna be our most used lift in the shop. So we're gonna make it nice and easy to pull into the 4-post and keep it in the largest bay door in the corner of the shop. But I'm gonna go ahead, get at it, hop in the skidster and try and get this lift separated to make it a lot easier to pull inside the shop. And I was able to separate all of the 4 posts on the corner of each section of the lift apart, and the pump and all the air hoses and stuff. There is going to be some parts that we're going to have to replace, but for the most part we got everything separated from over there. And then we used the skidster to drag across the lift into the first bay door, and then we set it on some rollers in the cement, and then we can walk inside the shop and show y'all where we got with it so far. And now we're trying to push in the 4-post lift with the skidster and some rollers on the front to the shop. So going inside now, you can see we finally have the 4-post lift kind of in the general area where it's going to be mounted into the ground. And the skid steer definitely made this process a million times easier, because this is one heavy lift and we had to separate the front cylinder off of it. So now we have to go ahead, reinstall everything and somehow get all the 4 posts in each corner positioned upright. And then we're going to make it to where the lift can have enough room on the side right here where the catwalk goes to go all the way up and not hit, and then on that back wall. So really the hard part is going to be positioning the lift to where when the truck goes up in the air, it's not in the way of anything, and then we still have enough room on that back wall for the toolbox and area to walk by with not hitting anything at all. But in order to get it from the door to here, we used these dollies and they kind of broke on us, but they made it most of the way, and then we just set some 2x4s underneath and slid it along all the way to here now. So now I'm gonna do the hard part, which is gonna be mounting all the 4 posts into the cement and getting everything aligned properly and all the cables ran. And then we're gonna be repairing one of the hydraulic hoses on here, and then probably replacing all the air lines to get it all installed in the shop. And now we're just marking all of the posts 48 inches from the ground and 18 inches from the ground to attach the sucker rod all the way alongside the front fence line. And then we'll come back to y'all when we have some more progress knocked out. And slowly but surely we're gonna get all of these cross sections welded on all the way across. And coming up to the front of the property, you can see that we finally got all of the cross sections welded into the metal post on the fence. And what we're going to be doing here is lining up the cedar post we have over here all the way to the front and making it solid all the way across, and tying the cedar post on with wire to the two cross sections right here that we welded in all the way along across the front side of the fence. And same thing on the other side of the whole property. We got the entire section all the way along welded in all the way across, and it's probably going to require over 1,500 cedar posts to make this a solid fence. So we're going to be doing a ton of tying with the wire all the way along, but at least we're getting there slowly but surely. And this didn't take too long to weld all up together. We just put the welder on the back of the truck with the generator and worked our way down all the way until it's completed. But we're making a ton of progress, and it's finally nice to say that we have all of the cross sections finished welding in, so we can start to lay all these cedar posts along there. So now we're gonna have to get loads and loads of cedar posts hauled over here on my trailer with the work truck and get them dropped off in place so we can start setting them along the whole fence line. So for the whole entire front fence, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the cedar post, leaning them against those cross sections we welded in, and then tying them with wire to the top cross member and the bottom cross member, and then we'll tie around to every single cedar post to itself to keep it nice and solid the whole way and give a nice look. So for the whole entire front fence line, it's basically going to look like cedar posts just like this, but solid all the way across. And we have 450 total feet of fence all the way along the front of the property, and we calculated it's about 4 posts per foot, so we're going to need about 1,800 posts to complete the whole entire fence line of the property. So it is going to be a very tedious project, but I can't wait to see how it turns out once we're done. And then at the end, we'll measure the lowest part of the posts and chop them all flat all the way across to finish off the look. We've also been doing a lot more trimming on the property as well too. It's like a non-ending project. And if you missed out on the last video, we went ahead and rolled all of the limestone that we brought up from the bottom side of the ranch after we milled it. And now once we've gone over it with the roller, it compacted very nicely and made a nice roadway to finally get around with the trailers and the trucks. And especially coming down right here to make this corner, we finally have enough room to actually turn since we expanded the end right here a lot and removed some big trees that were in the way. But now I'm gonna have the fun task of trying to mount all 4 of these posts onto the lift inside and getting everything set up. And once we finish getting everything mounted and put together for the 4-post lift, I'm thinking about painting the entire lift. So let me know what y'all think in the comments down below what color we should do the lift. I'm thinking a nice gloss black. And I'm also gonna go ahead and take the 2-post lift from the other shop I currently work in right now to my new shop here eventually as well, and put that one in the second bay. And then we're definitely gonna have to match the color of the painting on that one to this one as well. Because right now you can tell the lift is pretty used. It came from an old Ford dealership, so we're definitely gonna have to sand this thing down and get the whole thing painted. And I know a lot of y'all had recommended to do the stain or the epoxy before we actually mount the lift into place, but I know if we would have done that, the whole entire first bay would be completely scratched up and messed up from actually pulling the lift in itself. So we're gonna go ahead and do that after we get all the lift mounted and in place, because we're never really gonna take the lift out once it's mounted in place, so it's not gonna be a big issue that there's no epoxy or stain underneath the lift. And on top of finally getting the washer and dryer, I went ahead and picked up a nice dishwasher for upstairs and a huge Whirlpool refrigerator / freezer combo. And coming upstairs in the shop house, I'm super excited for this weekend because we're finally gonna start on the electrical and plumbing for the whole entire house area. And then we're finally gonna be one step closer to being done with the upstairs. But I know it's gonna be an absolute mess with the dozens and dozens of wires we're gonna have to run for all of the outlets and accessories in here. But we started laying out some of the boxes for all of the plugs and switches for the rooms all the way around, and the closet areas for all the lights, and of course all of the outlets on the inside of every room. And being these back rooms are the same, we basically just duplicated the boxes into this room as well, and all these switches. We also added some blocking for the framing on the back wall to make all of the cabinets super easy to be screwed in. And then coming to the catwalk of the shop, one of the fun projects is gonna be wiring to get all of the lights put in here, because right now they're just ran off of extension cables. So we're gonna have to get everything all hardwired in down here at the shop area as well. But for inside the house, all of the ceilings and the lighting is probably gonna be those recessed can lights. So we're gonna have to run a ton of electrical. And then we're also gonna start getting the AC unit put in soon as well once we get everything ran. And most likely I'll go ahead and put some outlets on the outside towards the patio as well. And then coming in the master bedroom and the bathroom, we're gonna have to run all of the lights for the shower and all of the plumbing in here as well, because this shower is gonna be a complete walk-in, and I also have to pick tile colors for it as well. But overall, we're knocking out a ton of progress on the shop house, and with starting all of the electrical and plumbing this week, we should have that finished within a week as well. So stay tuned for the videos, because you're not gonna wanna miss it. And let's go ahead and turn on the temporary lights in the shop right now so I can explain to y'all what we're gonna be doing for a permanent setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and order a lot more of those huge UFO bay lights that are on the ceiling right now and get them mounted in the back so we can have as little to no shadows as possible. And then under the shorter part of the bay under the house, there's just these tiny little strip lights right now that aren't even connected. So I'm probably gonna add some of the UFO lights all the way underneath the shop as well right here to get it all lit up, because right now there's just nothing but shadows underneath here. So I'm gonna run wire drops all the way around in a lot of areas so we can hardwire all of these lights to one switch at the front of the entrance to the door. And then I'm also gonna put a ton of outlets, one on each of these posts right here, there, and there. And then along the back wall, we're gonna put 4 bang outlets all the way right there, there, and there. And then I'm probably gonna add a 220 for the welder as well. And then we'll add additional outlets on all of these back posts right here, just so if you're outside or need some electrical out there as well, we can grab off of that pillar. And it's always better to overdo it than to underdo it when it comes to electrical. So we're just gonna go ahead, add as many outlets as I could possibly think so we never have to think about adding them in the future. And a lot of y'all have been asking what I'm gonna do for the insulation in the shop house, or if I am, because the entire barn is already rolled insulation. But yes, I am gonna be adding closed cell spray foam to every single exterior wall on the entire shop house. So if y'all know any companies near San Antonio, Texas, or you do have a company, let me know, DM me on Instagram, because I'd love to get a quote from you and get it all knocked out. And then for all the interior walls inside, I'm just gonna use your basic insulation. But if y'all have any recommendations for me or think we should change anything, let me know down below in the comments, because I'd love to hear what y'all think we should add or change to the shop house and the ranch. And if y'all are enjoying this series so far, make sure y'all leave a like down below and show some support in the comments, because it really pushes me to make more of these videos for y'all. And after dragging that 4-post lift in the shop, we kind of tore up the roads a little bit right here. So I am gonna be adding more material from down here on the hill to the top, especially to fill in these areas once I clean up all the mess from us framing the entire house. So I'll be grabbing more of the limestone that was pushed off when the building was actually created. But as you can see, we already got about 70% of it used for all of the roads, but we're gonna keep digging it out with the skidster, add it to the roads to make them a lot thicker and to contour to the garage doors up here to easily get in. And then we'll go over it with the rock miller once more and compact it again so we can have all these areas filled in and go up to each of those bay doors on the other garage as well. But for now, I am a lot happier with how the roads have turned out. It's a lot easier to get around here with your truck and actually be able to pull in through the front gates. And I'm also going to be building 2 custom gates for the front of the property as well for the entrance. But so far the roads are a lot better than they were before, and we're actually able to access them with our truck to drive all the way around, even with the trailer hooked up to the gooseneck. And it's nice for the shop up here, we finally have an area to actually park. Yes, we will level it off a little bit better, but if you saw the before and after, you'd be very impressed, because all up here used to just be solid brush. Once we finish grabbing all of the rock for the roadway, we're going to use all of the remainder to spread down to our valley coming down the ranch here that has just been way more opened up, especially along the hillsides. You can see all of these scraps that we have been cutting, so you can have a nice view up from the barn dominium down to below. And if y'all had seen the road down to here before, it was extremely bumpy, but eventually we'll add more of that material, get it milled down and compacted to have a nice smooth road down to the valley. But I'm slowly pulling all of the brush and trees down into fires, burning them and getting everything cleared out. And you can see how much of a difference we have from before. And we've been lighting some massive fires because I've been pulling all of the brush out from the hills and down below with the skidster and just piling it up. But it's finally nice to see all of the 20+ acres of the ranch down here and the river opening up to where we can finally use the land to hunt, fish, and just see all of the wildlife all the way around. Especially uncovering some of the cool features on the ranch, like the stream right here that is currently dried out, but once it's filled up at the end of the ranch, it is blocked off and will have a ton of water all the way along the entire ranch. And on top of that, all of the hillsides are finally opening up to where we can visually see all the way up and around. And that stream follows all the way down here and really opens up and follows all the way along down the center of the property. The flatter part of the property right here, you can still see how the stream flows across the center to the left of this roadway right here. And one of my favorite features of the property right here, when everything's all greened and once we get some rain finally, this stream down here will fill up all the way and all of the water will be stuck from the roadway that crosses right there. And once all of the water fills up right here, we'll have a nice little pond for all of the wildlife to drink out of. And we also started to shred all of the property down here towards the river. And once we get done with the clearing up top, we're gonna come down here and chop down all of the small trees and everything that's dead to open up all the area down towards the river. And I have to say, my favorite feature on the entire property has to be all of this riverfront down here. Especially once it fills up all the way like it usually is, you'll have a beautiful area down here to sit, hang out, and just have a good time. And I gotta say, probably one of the coolest things on the ranch also has to be this insanely massive tree. I don't think I've ever seen one bigger than this, and there's no telling how old it is. And from the other side of the dam, this is the spillway to the river from the stream. And lastly, on the other side of the property from the river up, we have a lot more flat land that connects back to the main part of the ranch. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the part 6 of building my dream shop house / ranch series. We got a ton of work knocked out today, especially on the fence and getting the 4-post lift finally pulled inside the shop. So if y'all did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like down below. Comment, let me know what you thought about the video. And if you have any recommendations, let me know down below in the comments as well what y'all wanna see. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this, because we got a ton coming to this series. But other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time.